So there's a new commentator in the CC by the name of Codename 401, who did a video that I had issues with to say at the very least, but before we begin, I should probably explain the context. Josh Scorcher and the Green Scorpion did a video about what they consider to be the top 10 worst Nintendo fails. Nintendo Switch Gamer Dude, who I'll just call Joshua throughout this video, covered that. A group that man called the Cloud Palace did a video on both Joshua and Josh's videos. Joshua made a piss poor response to it, and in particular, at one part he tries to defend Shigeru Miyamoto's quote saying, "A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad." Dude responded back with the commentary on that video as a whole, but bringing up how games today now have the ability to be patched, which led to Joshua deciding to make a video defending the quote, which Codename 401 is covering herself. If all this seems confusing, keep in mind that this isn't a multi-degree fuckfest. So really the only degrees you'll have to pay attention to is Joshua's defense video and Codename. You got that? Good.
Well, let me get to the point here. Doodle Tones was one of the people who first inspired me to make commentary videos, and on August 14th, 2020, she did a video on Nintendo Switch Gamer Dude, who was later revealed to be Joshua Coffeehouse. I recently noticed a tweet on that night asking about a response that someone did on her. Nintendo Switch Gamer Dude. With the help of Doodle Tones, I was given all of what I needed to fully do this on her behalf.
Okay, I think it's best that we point out something real quick because believe it or not, this is actually a major issue throughout this video. Your audio balancing sucks. At times watching your video, I had to rewind just to find out what you actually said, considering the music overpowers your voice to an absurd degree. Not helped by the fact that your music seems to have vocals on it, which adds to the distraction even more. Here's a tip. When you look for music, be sure to use instrumentals of the song that you want to put in. Or if you can't find any of the songs you're looking for, turn the volume down enough to where your voice isn't actively fighting with your music. Or alternatively, if you want music to play over your voice, at least play some insane clown posse. Seriously, do you know that's common decency around these parts? In all seriousness, I'll be inserting subtitles for the rest of this commentary just so everyone can follow along. By the way, I do know that this video was not edited by you, it was edited by someone called Curse Royal Studios, so this criticism goes to them primarily, but if you Codename decide to edit for yourself in the future, be sure to keep this shit in mind. Fucking ow. Okay, this is another criticism that goes out to Curse Royal Studios because, once again, the audio balancing is off as fuck. This is a screenshot I took of your video on Vegas. Notice how the volume of the intro card is louder than pretty much any other section of the video. What I recommend is turning the volume of the music down to where it's equal to the entire video. Not doing so will most likely result in a major case of audio whiplash. But even ignoring the elephant in the room, I still have some issues with your intro card, such as the weird and disjointed keyframes during the parts where you show arcade backgrounds, the credit to the clip which awkwardly appears seconds after the clip actually plays, the pictures of you and Joshua that pop up without any proper transition. I get that Curse Royal Studios may be new to editing or something like that, but I suggest learning how to improve on these aspects because as an editor, you gotta make things look as presentable as possible, and with presentation as sloppy as this, you might want to rework it a little.
I'm not sure if this is going to be a thing.
Text-to-speech. Whoopee. I believe in many videos that Doodle has done on Josh, we heard his voice. When he went back to text-to-speech is beyond me. One thing I also recall is that sometimes grammar was not his strong suit.
I don't even know what you're trying to say here. You bring up how in the previous videos that Doodle covered Joshua in that he uses real voice, but decided to switch over to TTS. Is your point that Joshua shouldn't use TTS because of the grammar issue you brought up? Well, that wouldn't be inherently an issue with the TTS program, that just means that Joshua needs to work on his grammar. So in reality, it's not the fact that Joshua uses the TTS program that's the problem, it's how he decides to go about it.
1:08 a.m.
Considering quotes have to come from past experience, I would have to say Miyamoto had rushed once or more to perfect his quote. As for the relevance, let's take a look at past gaming experience from Big Rigs and Sonic 06.
I know where your heart is coming from, but you just defended Miyamoto's quote and mentioned his experience to back it up by using two games he never had a hand in making. Not to mention, according to my research, Big Rigs wasn't even rushed.
To address the first point, Joshua doesn't need to use games that Miyamoto worked on since they were two separate points. The first one being that Miyamoto's experience so he knows what he's talking about, and the other one being games like Sonic 06 and Big Rigs are rushed and people hate them, which Doodle was specifically referring to modern games, so these examples don't really help his point. Regardless, he really shouldn't have to bring up rush games that Miyamoto developed to prove a point unrelated to it. Also, How do you know that Big Rigs wasn't rushed? You don't show any screenshots in the video, nor do you link anything in the description proving this.
Well, to be fair, she did link a source in the comment section.
Oh, she did? Well, let's see. Oh, okay, first of all, why did you leave the evidence in the comment section of your video? You could have easily put that link in the description and would have saved more time. Second, it really doesn't help that the evidence is placed in a reply, meaning that it wouldn't be seen just by skimming through the comment section. And what's worse is that had Nintendo Switch Gamer Dude not posted this comment, those who would question your statement would pretty much be shit out of luck. Be sure to put relevant sources either in the description and or the video. And finally, I read through the Wikipedia article in question and nowhere in it does it tell us that the game wasn't rushed. On the contrary, I could theoretically make an argument that the game was rushed because it says on the section for development and release that Big Rigs was released in a pre-alpha state, so even your source doesn't prove that the game wasn't rushed.
To clarify, people's problem is not it's unplayable, but because it's Sonic the Hedgehog. Whether or not you find it entertaining is a matter of opinion. You either found Sonic 06 entertaining because of the glitches, it counts as a game, or you don't find it entertaining because it's Sonic, or your experience had a sour taste. Both of these choices have a right and wrong reason. I'm pretty sure there's more to it than these, but subjectivity is the only reason why Doodletones finds it irrelevant. What she wants is fact.
Let me dismiss the statement by using for the game I have no recollection of. So, here is a pet peeve of mine that even I'm guilty of doing. Saying a game is bad without playing it first. A lot of people will do this and it always makes me mildly upset.
Except that's not what Joshua is saying. He's just saying the reasons that people may be turned off by Sonic 06 may be more the way he described. I don't think that translates to him trashing a game he hasn't played.
They sure are giving these clubs some crazy names.
Be specific. Does Miyamoto's quote still have merits today? It depends on the person you asked. The forever angle can still be viewed as subjective today, but if nothing changes, then that would be laziness. Japan works the hardest. America is lazy. Doodletones happens to be a North American cause and that has different subjectivity and effort. So in Japan, you have no choice but to work hard.
What? What does that have to do with anything? I need an explanation of that.
It was to say that Duel shouldn't be talking about how Japan runs their game's development. Granted, I will agree with the rest of your point concerning that Joshua's point is, well, to put it bluntly, gas-chuggingly fucking stupid, but it does have relevance in that sense.
I'm feeling like a total fuckhead!
Final thoughts. Wow. I have no words to describe this. So for starters, it literally took you until the flat-out end to get to your point. You used incorrect games to discuss Miyamoto's experience with Rush games that he didn't make. Then you decide to bring up Sonic 06 for some reason. Then finally, when you get to your point, you back up your claims with stereotypes. My god.
Hey, I have a question. Why were these final thoughts necessary? Given how, with the exception of Joshua waiting until the very end to make his point, everything else you brought up was already said in the video itself, and it's not like you even expand on any of these problems either, so it's just stating the problems with the video and not much else. Final thoughts should be there to expand on thoughts about the video as well as giving leftover criticism, and they aren't really required to have in the commentary, so it's not like you had to put this in here, and that's all I really have to say about Codename's video, so final thoughts. To be honest, despite all the glaring editing issues and the weird points you made in the video, I don't actually think your video was all that bad. You definitely did make points that I agreed with, when I was able to hear them, and I see no instance of spite thrown in, which is good. However, there were still a few brown spots on this video that I think you should work out for your next one. Though if I can make another suggestion for your next video, be sure to cut out the pauses in your audio. You might be using a script, you might not, but regardless, you tend to speak in an awkward manner that makes it seem like you're coming up with points off the top of your head. Now, if you are using a script, you don't exactly have to worry about writing one, but regardless, you should probably cut out the moments of dead air or something like that, because that will help the video flow a lot better. Anyways, that's all I have to say about the video. This has been Slayer, signing out. The security system takes control of Squidward's house and begins attacking the city, leaving the mayor to give Squidward community service for the damage he caused, even though SpongeBob and Patrick were in his house the whole fucking time and were responsible for everything. Gah, fuck this episode. This episode is when the Squidward torture porn starts to become a regular staple in SpongeBob's episodes, and this is one of the meanest, cruelest, and just plain unfair of them all. All Squidward wanted to do is enjoy one day to himself, but that can never happen when he lives next to SpongeBob and Patrick, can it?